My name's Witten, and I'm the plant manager out here. Really like working here. It's an opportunity for people to learn a lot of different skills. From start to finish, we do production, all the way from cutting the material to the finished paint and or galvanizing of the finished product. We work on many different things, a lot of structural work. We do a lot of tanks, feed mills, and those kinds of things. But it's an opportunity for somebody that's interested in the field to learn a lot. And you know, there's a lot of different machines that we operate with, as well as different methods of how we fabricate things. So it's a good opportunity for somebody that's interested and really willing to dig in there and learn as much as they can.
Right. Hello, I'm Kelly Tarvin. I'm the engineering manager here at Southern Metal. I like working here because of the family environment that we have here, and the just a good group of people to work for, and just the quality of work that we do also. They expect a lot out of us, and so I think that shows up in our product at the end of the day.
Alright, so here at Southern Metal we do all sorts of custom fabrication. We do a lot of access equipment like stairs and ladders and platforms. We do anything and everything. We build a lot of tanks, a lot of silos and industrial sized ductwork. Starting on this end down here, we bring every job in, and this is where all the raw materials come in, get processed into different components. And then we have fit up and weld where everything gets put together and then welded out. Then we move down to finishing where we blast everything and clean it and then paint everything up. So we'll walk down this way. Down here is where we process all of our stick material. So we'll bring anything in that's going to be channel, angle, flat bar, pipe, all those types of materials. We'll bring them in. We're actually doing a lot of remodeling around here because we're getting some new machines in. But we typically have two saws placed here on both sides of the bay where we will process the stick material down to the correct length and then move it on into the second section of prefab. But we're actually, like I said, we're moving everything around. We also have the Dragon on the other side of the bay over here. That is a plasma cut machine. So it's CNC, so you're able to design everything in engineering, and it cuts everything up to you to the specific lengths and designs that you need. And then we try to keep all of our stick material under a roof. So we do have all of our 20-foot sticks and under is all inside. Everything larger is outside. We have our section rolls here in the ground. This is where we'll be rolling any pipe, angle, channel, tubing, those types of things. If we have to roll them into a diameter for a tank, like this piece over here, this angle over here has been rolled. So we'll process that on the machine right behind you. And then we'll move on over to the other side of prefab. On this side of prefab, this is where we process all of our plates and sheet. We have everything stored on the last bay over here, so everything's kept under roof. Inside this small room right here is where we keep our laser. It's a Trump 3030 fiber laser. That's where we'll process all of our materials that are 5 by 10 foot or smaller. They can cut up to 3/4 inch thick on stainless and carbon. Also back here we have our high def plas. This is where we cut just about everything else. It has I believe it's a 28 foot by 9 foot bed on it. So we cut mostly everything there. And then anything super thick, we have access to be able to cut all the way up to 6 inches thick right here on our flame sword. We don't use it too often, but we do have a few jobs that require some thicker material, and we'll use that to cut in. So after everything's been processed from raw materials into different components, everything moves to the center bay here, where we'll either roll it, bend it, punch it, cope it, those types of things. We have two different rollers. We have our big rolls and our small rolls. This has a 10-foot wide roller on it. And this is where we roll most of our tank shells for all of our silos. We also have a small set of rolls over there. That's going to be where we roll small flanges and stuff like that. And then as far as bending, we have 3 machines, but we really only use one at this point. We have an LVD bender over here. It is computer operated, so they're able to design the part before they even start forming it. and it'll actually move the backstop in and out to make everything very easy for them just to load, bend, pull out, flip, and do whatever. It'll even tell you when to flip the component over. So we do have 2 small punches over there, not used as often anymore. And it's not to be used even less if we're getting a new machine that will do all of that for us. But we do have those right here in the middle bay as well. So at this point, everything comes together. It's going to be rolled, bent, punched if there's supposed to be holes in it, or drilled if there's supposed to be holes in it. And then all the parts are put together for the job itself, and then they move down to fit up and weld out, which is right down here. So like I said, now the stuff starts getting here, it's collected together in small pallets like this, or in larger pallets if it's a bigger job. Like I was saying earlier, we do a lot of access material, so you can see over here where we're building a ladder with cage and a lockout door on the bottom. We do a lot of ladders. We've done ladders for multiple hospitals and stuff like that actually in the area. So we do anything from Alabama countrywide. So as everything is starting being put together and welded out, now it starts getting pushed down here to our finishing department. As you can start to see some finished items. This is where we start staging stuff, getting ready for shipping, or we stage it and go in our blast booth and our paint department. So we'll go on down here and take a look inside. Now inside the booth behind me, this is our blast booth. We'll bring all the materials in here as they're put together, and we'll have our sandblaster come in. And what this does is it removes any mill finish, any oils, anything like that that's left on the material. That'll get that all cleaned up and get you down to bare material, so that way when they're painting, there's no contaminants under the paint to cause issues with flaking or anything. So everything comes in here and gets blasted, and then we take it over here and we put it in our paint booth. And I'll bring you over here and open the door. Have LED panels all over the roof, and we have a coating on all of the lights, so anytime they get overspray on them, you peel that off, redo another coat of that, and it keeps them always clean. Down the side and across the top, you also have filters all over, and what that does is as spray comes out, it'll suck into those filters to keep it from staying in the air, keep it from overspray on the parts themselves. And then down the sides, there's gauges that tell you when the filters need to be changed out. So state-of-the-art machinery that allows us to cut down on dry times. So after they get done everything painted, they'll close all the doors. They'll crank it up. I think it goes up to 180 degrees. So they're able to cure and cure the paint out. So it takes a portion of the time. So they got a heated control room. So everything takes far less time than it used to. So we use Excel. We've come up with formulas for Excel. We've come up with all sorts of formulas for coming up with the weights and cost per pound and all that stuff, and use that as kind of a format for that. We also have it's called Tekla, but and it also has a sales side. We've not completely implemented that yet, but we're in the near future. That's the process. Excel is pretty great.
Our business started in 1991. Started out with a partner, and we were servicing local industries, doing light gauge sheet metal work and maintenance services, and over time it's just kind of evolved into something much different than it was 30 years ago, which is the reason for the success that we've had. Is we have not just been a niche market. We have been diverse, and always expanding capabilities, and so that's where we are today. We started out again doing just light gauge sheet metal work and that type of stuff, and eventually evolved into heavier plate work. The products that we have, we build tanks and silos for bulk storage. We do material handling components for conveyors and things of that nature, and we also do pollution control equipment, which are cyclones and bag houses and industrial ductwork, which gets into the heavier steel work. We do structural fabrication. We have a new machine that we're putting online in the second quarter of this year, which is a petting house XDM 630, which will allow us to process large I-beams and that type of stuff, and just help us to improve the quality of what we do, the speed in which we do it, and enable us to do it with the same employees that we've got. That's a large problem today, is finding employees, and so naturally you work to try to automate more processes the best you can. So that's the type of work that we do. We're not confined to a particular market. We're not confined to a particular customer. Again, the diversity is what has enabled us to be as successful as we are. Always welders. We have here, of course, we have, in our administrative department, we have, secretary. We have a financial person, and handles receivables and payables and invoicing and that type of work. We have engineering. Our engineering manager has 2 detailers that work with him. And so there's, computer skills and that type of work that we need, those type of employees. And they do detailing with AutoCAD and prepare drawings for customers' approval, and then also prepare documentation for the shop as well. We have CNC operators that run the laser and the plasma, and then also the new petting house machine will have CNC operators for that. We have prefab employees that do cutting, bending, rolling. They do all of the prefab work, and then the materials process on through to fit up and weld out. So we have need for fitters and welders. And then in finishing department, we do sandblasting or abrasive blasting, and we have painting, and we ship stuff out to be galvanized. And so we have people, that we need to drive trucks, and people that we need to paint, and people we need to blast. So, and then people that work in shipping as well. So we have a pretty wide variety all the way through the process. We're always looking for qualified personnel, but that's, again, in this particular time, in this economy, that's very difficult to find. And so we're looking for, young, energetic people, people that want to go someplace in life and build a career. And that's always, this type of business is one that you can build a good trade career and have a good income for life, and it's it's very rewarding from a standpoint if you get to see something built from just a piece of sheet on the ground, or a piece of plate, or a piece of angle, to a completed product. Again, we're always looking for experience, and in fact, we've got one guy that interviewed with us this morning who is a graduate of Jacksonville in IT, and so we're looking to try to find a place for him. But as far as high school graduates, we always try to encourage the young folks to to look at careers in fabrication and manufacturing. It's always good if they've got some experience or some background, maybe with the tech school or through the ag programs, as far as welding or any kind of shop type classes. Those are always good to kind of whet people's appetite to, just to build stuff. So, yeah, I would encourage, a high school graduate or somebody near graduation, if they're interested in staying in this area, and this area is a good place to stay. There are a lot of local amenities that we didn't have 20 years ago. My two sons are both in the business with me now. Both of them went to college. They were looking at going into separate careers, and one into law enforcement and one into culinary management. And both of those decided when they were getting very close to graduation that they were kind of interested in possibly looking into this, and so they're both here today. And part of the draw was, everybody likes to go to the big city when you graduate high school or college, and and enjoy all the neat things in the city. But Albertville has got a lot of good things to offer at this point in time, and it's a growing community, a good place to raise a family. It's good schools, good entertainment options, and with the park and everything else. So it's there's a lot to offer here locally. It's not go to Birmingham and Huntsville and Montgomery and different places like that, Atlanta. We have a lot here to offer.